sides of a story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Time now for Both Sides of the story of Jamaicans at home and Jamaicans abroad. Power 106 FM. We will not take sides, but we'll listen to your side. Stay with us as we explore the issues, present the facts, speak with the experts, and as always, listen to both sides. What's your story? Tell us on both sides of the story by calling our local numbers 876-922-4112 You can listen to both sides of the story on the Power 106 FM app via the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, as well as on onespotmedia.com. Plus, listeners in the USA can dial 631-359-8281 to listen. And if you're in the UK and you wish to dial a number to listen to Power 106 FM, you can call 0330-606-0953. You can watch both sides of the story live on the Dervan Malcolm Facebook page. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Both Sides 106. Email bothsides106@live.com. Send your WhatsApp voice notes, audio messages, and text messages to 876-365-3346. Remember, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so we can listen twice as much as we speak. So stay with us as we listen to both sides of the story.
Both sides of a story.
Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Both sides of a story.
We always need to hear both sides of the story. Both sides of the story.
Knowledge is power. Class is in session. Power 106.
We wear the mask that grins and lies. It hides our cheeks and shades our eyes. This debt we pay to human guile. With torn and bleeding hearts we smile, and mouth with myriad subtleties. Why should the world be overwise in counting all our tears and sighs? Nay, let them only see us while we wear the mask. We smile, but, O great Christ, our cries to thee from tortured souls arise. We sing that, oh, the clay is vile beneath our feet and long the mile. But let the world dream otherwise. We wear the mask. Sharing with you a piece by Ludwig van Beethoven this afternoon here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM. Symphony number 5 in C minor, opus 67, Allegro con brio by Beethoven. It's the International Decade of Healthy Aging, the International Decade of Ecosystem Restoration, the International Decade of Ocean Science for Sustainable Development, the Decade of Action for Road Safety, and the International Decade for Indigenous Languages. It's the 24th day of the 6th month of 2024. Put another way, it's the 24th day of the first month of the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season in this Disaster Risk Reduction Month, Road Safety Awareness Month, Brides Month, and Pride Month. In the United States, it's National Immigrant Heritage Month, National Caribbean American Heritage Month, and Caribbean Cuisine Month. Still in the US, June is being observed as Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month, Cataract Awareness Month, Myasthenia Gravis Awareness Month, Aphasia Awareness Month, Congenital Cytomegalovirus Awareness Month, Migraine and Headache Awareness Month, National Safety Month, Scleroderma Awareness Month, Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder, PTSD Awareness Month, Scoliosis Awareness Month, and Men's Health Month. We're almost at the end of coming up to Caribbean American Legislative Week, Helen Keller Deaf-Blind Awareness Week, and Productivity Week here in Jamaica, which if you have been listening to Power 106, you would have heard broadcasts from 9 to 5 on the subject of productivity, and it's been quite enlightening. The Battle of Carabobo is being remembered in Venezuela. It's Constitution Day in the Democratic Republic of Congo, where they're also observing the Democratic Republic of Congo. They're also observing Fisherman's Day. It's Countryman's Day in Peru, even as they celebrate Inti Raymi. It's Discovery Day or Cabot 500 Day in Newfoundland and Labrador, Canada. In Quebec, they call it Fête Nationale. It's Manila Day in the Philippines, from Latvia to Estonia, from Haiti to Peru, Macau, Sweden and Andorra, Aruba, Italy and Portugal, from Puerto Rico to Spain, Serbia and Brazil. It's St. John's Day being celebrated all over the world. Hoy es lunes, el 24 de junio 2024, y les saludamos en cualquier parte del mundo que nos están escuchando en este momento. Estamos muy agradecidos por el don de la vida y el privilegio de servirles en otra edición de su programa, Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia. Nunca vamos a tomar su audiencia por sentado, porque sabemos que ustedes tienen otras opciones. Y esta es la razón por la cual jamás olvidamos darle las gracias por elegir Both Sides of the Story, ambos lados de la historia, de lunes a viernes desde las 2 hasta las 5 de la tarde, aquí en Power 106 FM. La misión continúa para educar, capacitar, iluminar y estimular el espíritu empresarial. Bienvenidos. C'est lundi le 24 juin 2024 et nous vous saluons tous qui nous écoutez où que vous soyez dans le monde. Nous sommes reconnaissants du don de la vie ainsi que du privilège d'être à votre service par une nouvelle édition de votre programme Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre. Nous ne considérons pas votre fidélité comme l'un de soi parce que nous savons que vous avez l'embarras du choix. C'est pourquoi nous n'oublions jamais de vous remercier de choisir d'écouter Both Sides of the Story, le pour et le contre, du lundi au vendredi, de 2h à 5h de l'après-midi sur notre antenne Power 106 FM. Nous continuons notre mission d'éduquer, d'habiliter, d'éclairer et d'encourager l'esprit d'entreprise. Bienvenue. All we're saying is it's Monday, the 24th of June, 2024, and we greet you well, wherever in the world you are listening to us right now. We remain eternally grateful for the gift of life and the privilege to serve you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story. We don't ever take your listenership for granted because we know you have choices. And that's why we never, ever forget to remember to say thanks for choosing to listen to Both Sides of the Story, Monday to Friday, 2 to 5, right here on Power 106 FM. The mission continues to educate, empower, enlighten, and encourage entrepreneurship. Welcome.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:15.
excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
In 2017, we created the Youth Summer Employment Program. Over 40,000 young people have been professionally trained and deployed to help the ministry and the local authorities in implementing critical functions while earning a good income. I am pleased to announce that this year, the Youth Summer Employment Program for the first time will be employing 10,000 young people in Jamaica for the summer. For the first time,
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
Welcome to the new dimension in eye care, the optical zone, offering exceptionally comfortable eyewear. We fill prescriptions and do eye examinations. This complete optical store is conveniently located at Shop 14, York Plaza, Halfway Tree. Telephone 929-8656. The Optical Zone, providing vision for life.
How much do you know about spices and the impact they have on your everyday life? Join us every first and third Thursday during Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie at 6:18 a.m. for Spice of Jamaica. We'll give you tips, tidbits, and interviews about the revitalization and sustainability of the Jamaican spices, including ginger, turmeric, and pimento. That's Spice of Jamaica every first and third Thursday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM. Spice of Jamaica is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food for Progress Jamaica Spices Project.
Here's a bit of history for you. On this day in 1503, while Christopher Columbus was trying to establish a settlement on the Central American mainland, he experienced severe difficulties. He was forced to abandon 2 boats and crammed his 116 men into the remaining vessels, the Capitania and the Santiago de Palos, and headed for the tip of Cuba. When he arrived, he ran into a storm, and with the boats leaking heavily, he headed instead for Rio Bueno on Jamaica's north coast. As on his first trip to Jamaica in 1494, Columbus was fooled by the large and spacious Discovery Bay, which he called Puerto Seco, dry harbor, because while it could hold a 16th century navy, it had no water. In desperation, he headed for his original arrival spot, Santa Gloria, near the Indian village of Maima, or Maima, M-A-I-M-A, where the great St. Anne River enters the sea. Here he arrived at St. Anne's Bay on this day in 1503. Columbus would remain in Jamaica for 369 days, the longest time spent in any one place. Just thought we'd give you a bit of that since it's connected to our history here in Jamaica. 1658, Colonel Edward Doyley, who was in charge of the new English troops in Jamaica, attacked a fort at Rio Nuevo in St. Mary, which had been built by Don Cristobal Arnaldo de Sassy, the leader of the Spaniards who remained after the invasion of Jamaica by the British 3 years earlier. The Spaniards were routed, 1/3 were killed, another third made prisoners, while the remainder fled. And in fact, closer to our time, on Saturday, the 18th of July, 2009, at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, the Jamaica National Heritage Trust, in association with the Rio Nuevo Battlesite Citizens Association, opened a museum in the area. So here's what happened. Under the authority of Don Cristobal Arnaldo de Sassy, a new fort was built in Rio Nuevo. But when the Spanish commander, Edward Doyley, was informed about this renewed settlement of the Spanish, he immediately went to Rio Nuevo. There, he offered E. Sassy a ceasefire and safe passage to Cuba. E. Sassy refused, and one of the most important battles in Jamaican history took place. The Spanish resistance was eventually broken, and they officially ceded Jamaica to the English. They gave up Jamaica to the English in 1670 under the Treaty of Madrid. Edward Doyle became the first English governor of Jamaica. It gets better. On this day in 1680, William Penn, the younger, petitioned Charles II for repayment of his debt to Admiral Sir William Penn, his father. The Crown had become indebted to the Admiral to the tune of £16,000. The debt was settled with a charter. 3 years later, on June 3, 1623, William Penn signed a friendship treaty with the Lenni Lenape Indians in Pennsylvania. A word on Pennsylvania. Sylvania, Silvania, is the Latin for woodland, from the word Silvanus, who in Rome mythology was the god of woodlands, fields, and flocks. So Pennsylvania means Penn's woodland. The name does not honor the Quaker William Penn, as is generally believed, but his father, Admiral Sir William Penn. That's the same Admiral William Penn who, along with General Robert Venables, took Jamaica from the Spaniards in 1655. But back to Pennsylvania. Admiral Penn, the naval hero who helped frame the first code of tactics for the British Navy, had been imprisoned in the Tower in 1655 for political reasons. The Crown, however, had become indebted to the Admiral, Penn having loaned Charles II £16,000. And so on this day in 1680, the younger Penn petitioned Charles for repayment of his debt with a charter. Penn's account tells us that he suggested the names Sylvania and New Wales. When Charles II added the Penn in honor of his father, he strongly objected, since Quakers were opposed to such use of personal names. Young William Penn's objection was not strong enough to prevent the naming of the land Pennsylvania in honor of his father, Admiral Sir William Penn. And we'll leave that there for the time being as we get closer to the time for this afternoon's edition of Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. So in the meantime, if you know of anyone who is having issues in relation to land, now would be a good time to get your questions together and prepare to get answers from those questions that we'll be getting from Land Solutions this afternoon, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. And we'll be taking your calls on 876-922-4113-5, 876-922-4113-5. Any questions at all that you have with respect to the sale or purchase of land. This is the time coming up, just a few more minutes to go, and it will be your opportunity to ask questions of a land matter, anything having to do with land, whether the sale or purchase of land. That segment is coming up in another 5 minutes or less, and we ask that you get your thoughts together as you put your questions in line with exactly what you want to achieve by virtue of the appropriate response to the questions. So it's 876-922-4113-5, 876-922-4113-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876 365 3346. So you can send us your text messages and your WhatsApp messages as well. 876 365 3346. And I suspect you might very well have a few unanswered questions by virtue of the fact that we have had special editions of this program as opposed to the usual features. For example, we didn't have land solutions last week, as I remember it. And so here's an opportunity again. If you missed out on that episode, well, you get an opportunity now to have your questions answered by perhaps the most, if not the most, competent attorneys when it comes on to land-related matters, Gloria Brown and Calicia Findlay. So we'll find out in a little while which one of them will join us for this afternoon's edition of Land Solutions. And to take us up to the break right now, since we're talking about land and the sale and purchase of land, presided over by its president, John White, the council, a body which advises the governor, met on board a ship in the harbor and passed a resolution to purchase 200 acres of land known as Hog Crawl, owned by Colonel William Beeston. That's why we have a Beeston Street in downtown Kingston. That was paid for to the tune of £1,000. Hog Crawl is being occupied at the time, was being occupied by panic-stricken residents of Port Royal, which was destroyed by an earthquake 17 days earlier on June 7. The resolution which was passed read as follows: there to be laid out 200 acres of Colonel William Beeston's land in the parish of St. Andrew, where the president and the rest of the gents of their Majesty's Council had appointed for the building of a new town. Hog Crawl was across the harbor from Port Royal. The council also gave Nicholas Laws, that's why there's a Laws Street in downtown Kingston, gave Nicholas Laws the task of laying out the streets of the new town. On July 21st, 1692, the Island Assembly created the town of Kingston on lands purchased from Mr. Beeston on a plan drawn up by Mr. John Goff. And we'll give you enough time to breathe and get ready for Land Solutions. We're going to leave it there for the time being. So it is that time coming up now for Land Solutions. We are less than a minute away before we start taking your calls on 876-922-4113 to 5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. More after the break.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:30. Here is a financial literacy tip from your friends at Power 106 FM. Protect your wealth. If you rent, get renter's insurance to protect the contents of your home from loss due to theft or fire. Read the policy carefully to see what's covered and what isn't. Disability insurance protects your ability to earn an income by providing you with a steady income if you're unable to work for an extended period due to illness or injury. If you want help managing your money, find a fee-only financial planner to provide unbiased
Buy a
advice.
bag of Hypro feeds and win a bag of cash in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Hypro is back with another chance for you to win a share of millions in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Try for the grand prize of $3 million, weekly prizes of $100,000, plus daily prizes. To enter, buy any qualifying Hypro feed and text the entry code in the bag for your chance to win a bag of cash in the Hypro Farm to Fortune promotion. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting Gaming and Lotteries Act.
It's a Monday afternoon, just after 2:30, so you know what that means. Time for Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. Anything at all to do with the sale or purchase of land, you've come to the right place. Here are the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. And the text line for Land Solutions, 876-279-8598. 876-279-8598. We also have the other text line, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office upstairs, Shop 6 in Ocho Rios, St. Anne, and all are encouraged to call ahead instead of just turning up at the law offices of Brown, Findlay and Company. The numbers to call, 876-908-3518. And these are the regular numbers to call the law offices of Brown, Findlay and Company. 876-908-1950. 876-908-3518. And we'll share other contact details as the broadcast progresses. But right now, let's say hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Attorney at Law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan, and good afternoon to you and to listeners. Welcome back to Land Solutions, everyone. We took a break last week because of the Diaspora Conference, and I hope those listening abroad who came for the conference or who participated in the conference, especially those who visited, that you have seen what's happening to Jamaica in terms of land development, and that you take a cue from that and realize the importance of sorting out the family land. Very, very important. And I was just looking at my notes and I realized that come August 8th, Land Solutions, they were 14 years old.
My word.
And if I'm wrong, I know that there's a particular listener, Mr. Leo Bryan from Flywheel. And I know Leo is on the ball. Leo knows everything about Land Solutions, doesn't miss a program, and can always tell me when we started. Even call last week to see why we were not on the air. Thank you, Leo, for following up and for letting so many persons know about Land Solutions. If you want to speak to me on air, you may call 922-411-325, or you may send me a text message to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183 is the text line. If you want to talk to me, send me a message, a WhatsApp message, or a direct message. Those are the numbers to call. And as I spoke about the Diaspora Conference and persons participating, I want to have property out there, especially family land. And we know the common situation in Jamaica. Somebody has given you a little piece for yourself, or mama and daddy died, and the land is shared for all the different children. What you can do is, I'm encouraging the person to put a little title for your little piece.
Hello.
So you can always put it in the names of your relatives. Or in the name,
Thanks. How are you?
you can put it in the names of your relatives, or you can will it to them, etc. But a lot of times persons will come and say, we don't want to cut up the land now because daddy said it must be cut up. And sometimes that might not be the best situation, because you leave it and the next generation comes after you, and it was 10 of you daddy had, now it's 50 grandchildren when you have all passed, and it becomes very complicated. I always encourage each person to get a title for your little piece of the rock. Get your title for your piece, sort it out. You have a little house on your piece, survey it, and let's type it, so you have your piece you can leave for your children. You have your piece you can use to borrow money on, get a mortgage, etc. That's what we are encouraging persons. And sometimes persons will also come into the office and say, Miss Brown, I have 2 pieces of land beside each other, and I have 2 titles, but I want to get one. And I always say to my clients, 2 titles are better than one. You might want to sell one piece later. You might want to borrow some money on one piece when you and not tie up the other piece. So it's not necessary to put your 2 titles together. If you are doing a development, it's not necessary to get 1 title. If the lands are adjoining, it's not necessary. And a lot of times, sometimes we expend money that's not necessary. So I'm encouraging persons as always to get a title for your property. And remember, you can just send me a WhatsApp message, 387-3183. All you have to do is say title, and I'll gladly help you to get a title. All you have to do is send the document to the text message. Just say title to 387-3183, 387-3183, and we will gladly assist you in getting a title. But I'm encouraging all the persons out there to survey the piece of land. Survey the piece of land that you have, and let us help you to get a title. Remember that there is no size limit. As I always say to my clients, if this piece of land is as big as the palm of your hand, and the surveyor will survey it as I say, there's no size limit. So don't say the piece of land is too small. When we run into problems is when we have to apply to the local authority, the parish council. They will say it's too small, but if you are living on it, there's no title for it. We should be able to assist you to get a title for the little piece you're on. The number to call 922-411-325, and the text line 387-3183. I'm getting a text message. This is coming out of England. I see the 44 number. Good day. Some have their land title and family is saying that they get their title illegally. What should I do? Trying to make problems. When it comes to land is associated with problems. So if you have your title, let the family, when you have a registered title, the only way somebody can defeat that title or get that title cancelled, they have to prove to the court that you got the property fraudulently. So they have to show that you got the title by fraud. If they can't show that, then they can always keep talking. Okay, they can always say anything as they want. And a lot of times, I say to clients, when these land situations becoming too problematic, a lot of clients are encouraged, to sell the property. When the family starts giving trouble and you see that there's no way out and you don't live here, you might need to look to maybe get rid of that and buy something else. Sometimes that's the way because they can't go after the third party that easily, where they can give you a lot of problems. That is something you might have to look at, and sometimes we don't want to sell because of the challenges, because we know that it's family land and the mother died and left it for me. But sometimes we have to get rid of these problems because land is becoming so problematic. I don't know what is happening in recent time, but I've never seen it like this before. As I've seen it post-COVID, it's so many problems, and the problems are not in relation to strangers; they are relatives. So that's something you might need to look at. But the family can always say you got it fraudulently, or you got your title illegal. As long as you know that the land is yours and it's not theirs, then I would not listen too much to that. Which is why a lot of the persons living abroad and coming to build or to buy property, I encourage a lot of them, to buy in one of these gated new developments. And sometimes, a lot of times, we say we want to go and live where we come from. But as I say to my clients all the time, there's always a development near to where you came from. But it might not be best sometimes to go on the family land, because you have a generation coming up who a lot of persons in this new generation feel very entitled and feel that it is their right to claim. And see where nieces are fighting aunts and uncles for grandparents' property. Can you imagine? It's your parents' property and nieces and nephews are giving you a problem over it. That's so much of that. So a lot of things that we need to look out for. And a lot of things I'm encouraging my clients to be very, very wary about and to be very, very careful in terms of how you build. Don't build on family land unless you're building family house. Okay, that's something I encourage my clients to do, not to do. Do not go on family land unless you are building family house. And do not put down a piece of stick, a block, or a piece of steel on a property unless you have a title in your name. See too many problems in relation to that. Do not put down anything on the ground unless you have a title. No matter if it's your mother did you or your father did you, or you buy it from somebody. Until you have seen a title, do not put down anything on the ground. Okay, that's very, very important. The number to call 922-411-325. The text line is 387-3183. Text line 387-3183. And remember, you can send an email to gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. Also remember that you can put any number of persons. You can put any number of persons on a title. You can put a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 persons on your title. There's no limit to the number of persons, and that's something that we need to be very aware of. Because so many times persons come into the office and say, I have 10 children, but I just want to put on one because I don't want to put on so many. Okay, I don't want to put on so many. And when persons come and tell me that, the first thing I say to them, how many children you have, you might hear I have 4. But I'm only going to put it in one name because that one will take care of the rest. But remember that God forbid that one should die. The property is going to go to that one's spouse and children only. And then you're going to have a problem because your daughter might not want to take it or your son. But what happens now when you die and then that daughter dies and then that daughter's spouse or husband and children say, hey, it was mama owned. Mama alone owned it, so therefore you don't have any, the other children can't come there. If you can't afford to put on everybody or you're not so sure, make a will and wait whoever you want to get it. Okay, that might be important to do, but don't just put one person on a title and then later on you run into problems. Because I see so many instances where you put one person on the title and then you want to add the other children and the one you have put on say, no, I'm not allowing you to go on. I've seen that so many times. So when in doubt, don't just put the one because the one who you love today might not be the one you like tomorrow. That can be a problem too. I've seen that. That the price shall become a problem later on and then you are sorry you put that one on. And that one is saying, hey, I'm not going to allow my name to come off because mama gave it to me and I'm not even allowing mama. I've seen where we have to go to court for the court to order that child to be taken off. So there's a lot of things I want my listeners to be aware of. And one thing I'm very happy is all my listeners are becoming very aware, very knowledgeable when it comes to land. And that is what we have been doing for the last 13 years on solutions. I think we have changed the landscape in terms of land-related knowledge. We've really impacted how persons in Jamaica and abroad have the knowledge in relation to land. And we wish persons have knowledge in relation to everything like this. Medicine, everything, history. We need to have that knowledge because of people without knowledge. We cannot say we want to achieve 2030 status, first world status, when we have so many persons who are ignorant. And a lot of thing with us is that we have a lot of bar talk, really. In terms of we listen to things on the road and hear, hey, we hear that on the road and say, yes, I'm going to run into that. Okay? It doesn't work like that. Please, I beg persons, listen and be in the know. We're going to break with the land solution.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
2:45.
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
In 2017, we created the Youth Summer Employment Program. Over 40,000 young people have been professionally trained and deployed to help the ministry and the local authorities in implementing critical functions while earning a good income. I am pleased to announce that this year, the Youth Summer Employment Program for the first time will be employing 10,000 young people in Jamaica for the summer for the first time.
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story. Power 106 FM. Land Solutions, 14 years and still going strong. And still taking your calls on 876-922-4113-5, 876-922-4113-5. The text line for Land Solutions, 876-279-8598, 876-279-8598. And there's another text line, 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And let's get back once again to Attorney at Law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Welcome back to Land Solutions. Please remember the text line, okay, 3873183 or WhatsApp line. And Dervan just gave you a number as well. Okay, but you can send me a WhatsApp or a text message to 3873183 or just give us a call, 922-411-325. We'll gladly help you in relation to anything, buying land, selling land, getting a title for your land, probating your will, administering your estate. Those are the things we want to educate our listeners on. And also want to remind our listeners, please, when you are selling land, a lot of persons abroad selling property in Jamaica, do not let persons tell you how much to sell the land for. Get an official valuation. A lot of time persons, suppose I don't want to spend money to value it, but you might spend 40,000 to value it and realize it value $1 million more. And you don't want to be able to, you don't want to be passing that place every time and don't even want to drive on that road again because you realize you gave away the land. Okay, I'm begging persons, do not sell land. I spoke about it some time ago that I saw where somebody from abroad sent and told me that they were selling a property to a tenant who they have in the house, and the tenant had given them a value for 15 million, and they asked me to prepare the agreement. And I said to them, no, I'm not going to prepare that agreement unless you do your own valuation. And the client asked me to get a value. When I got the valuation, it was valued at $35 million. And the tenant had an official valuation done by a professional valuer, giving a 15 million value. So don't let persons value your property for you if you're going to sell, and don't just say, oh, that looks like 5 million. What happened? The Jamaican dollar is very low in value, number one. And number two, property values have escalated. So what you left in Jamaica as woodland is now highway. That's the reality. What you left in Jamaica as woodland is now highway. So please do not give away your land, especially the family land. Another challenge we're having, and I spoke about that maybe some time ago, is the problem with graves on property. Burial graves where we have buried our relatives, that is becoming a bit of a challenge. Because sometimes persons are abroad, and I'm encouraging some of them who are leaving the family land for squatters to take over. I will encourage a lot of my listeners to, hey, why don't you sell the property? But the challenge comes with the sale now. Because you are trying to sell, and what is happening is that the banks are not going to lend any money on properties with graves. A gentleman told me that he was selling a property. He was buying a property, and he told me that the bank refused the mortgage because they found a grave. And he was saying he did not know how the bank reached that place because the grave is way up in some bushes, but they identified a grave and refused to sanction the sale because they are not going to sell properties with graves. And I said it before on the program that I think what we need to do is to get the parish councils to waive subdivision when it comes to properties with graves. So I'm cutting off the little family plot. I should not have to go through the subdivision process. And there are ways of getting around that. So what I'm encouraging the listeners as well to do, if you have a property you want to sell, survey the little part with the graves and let us see how we can help you to get a title for that little part by itself. So if you want to sell the rest, because you really don't want to sell everything and people come and build house on your mother's grave or your grandfather's grave. And it's very expensive. The last time I checked the cost of removing a grave, and that was years ago, I was told it was $1 million to remove the grave. So it might be best for you to just get the family plot as a family plot cut off, and then just move on towards selling the rest of the property. That's what you need to do. And remember, don't be quick to sell as well, because remember that a lot of what we sell we will never be able to buy back. Because as it is said these days, that's one of the few things that God stopped making, land. No new land is being made. So we're begging you to be careful how you build, be careful how you go about looking to sell the family property. The number is to call 922-411-325. The text line is 387-3183. 387-3183, and the email address is gloria@landsolutionsja.com, gloria@landsolutionsja.com. And also remember, please, that we have an office in Winchester Business Center in Halfway Tree, and also in Ocho Rios in the Jamaica National Building. And you have an attorney in the Ocho Rios office every day. Every day you can find the attorney in the Ocho Rios office, and she'll be able to assist you. Also, please remember that you can send me a WhatsApp message or a text message to 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. What is the process for dealing with squatters who have taken over a family house? Should a report be made to the police? The thing is, when it comes to squatters, it's not a police matter, it's not a criminal matter, it's a civil matter. So if they have not been there, if they have been there for more than 12 years, you might have a challenge. All right, so what you need to do is to start a court action. But the problem though is that you can't go and say, I'm going to get rid of these squatters because they are on Mama's land. You need to go and administer Mama's estate. If she made a will, you need to probate the will so you can have the right to take them to court. If she has not made a will and you're one of the children or grandparents' estate, you're a grandchild, you need to administer the estate. But do not allow persons to stay on your property without paying rent. And deal with it, because time flies quickly, You might be saying, hey, but Mama died, just die, and I need to be, and let me just let them stay a little while. But time runs fast, so do not allow that. Let them pay even a peppercorn rent. All right, but the squatter is not a police matter. You need to get a lawyer to serve them notice and then take them to court. And if they are there for over a period of time, you can have a challenge. So it's something that you need to act on quickly. Do not allow anything, because we are people who sometimes we procrastinate a lot. Do not allow that to happen and lose your inheritance. The number to call 922-411-325. 922-411-325. That's the number to call if you want to speak to me on air, or you can send me a WhatsApp message to 876-387-3183. Can someone make a will without having a title for the land? Yes, yes, yes. And that's something I encourage my listeners to do. Do not wait until you have a title. Your mother has died and it's family land, put it in your will. Because if you do not live to sort it out, somebody else can sort it out after you, the persons you have willed it to. And a lot of times the problematic land that we have, the land problems, they won't be solved right away. So put it in writing, put it in your will. Will it? Don't wait to sort it out because it's yours. Will it and let the sorting out come after. It's very, very, very important. I thank the listener for this question, because a lot of times when I speak to my clients and say, make a will, they say, Miss Brown, when the title is ready, I make it. No. Do not wait on the title to be ready. Make it now. Good evening. My grandfather died and left some land. His children, including my father, occupied that property after his death. All his children are now dead. One of the grandchildren served a section of the land without the rest of the grandchildren consent. What can I do? A few of you as grandchildren, you need to go and administer the estate of your grandfather so you can sort out the sharing of the land. The one who has surveyed it, I'm not sure that one has a house on that, because it's a section that she or he has surveyed. I'm not sure if they have a house on it. They have a house on it and they have had the house for a certain period of time, or their parents had a house, then that set of parents' children can go and survey. But you have a lot of these where grandchildren feel entitled and feel that they can go and just survey off a piece. But that is what happens when when something stays too long, it serves two masters. And that is what is happening with the land. We're allowing problems to stay for too long. We're not sorting them out early and on time. So others see it and feel that we don't need it. And therefore, they go and survey and we run into problems. The number to call 922-411-325, 922-411-325, and the text line is 876-387-3183. 876-387-3183. And remember that if you need a title, just send me a message to that same number, 876-387-3183. All you have to do is just send me a message to say title, and I will gladly assist you in getting a title. And I'm encouraging everybody out there, you have a little piece of land, was given to you by your grandfather, grandmother, mother, or you bought it, just survey it right away. Because when you come into my office with a survey diagram, I probably can start your title application and have it in the titles office in the National Land Agency within the same month that you come in, because you already have the survey diagram. And a lot of us these days are quarreling with the surveyors, but there's a backup at the survey department in terms of the plans. So don't report the surveyor because 4 months, 5 months have passed and you can't get it. But as people, and I would say I have the same problem. Sometimes we don't communicate as much. We don't communicate effectively as we should. So we need to let the clients know what is happening so that they can understand and don't run to say, here, one of the surveyors, is not going to give me the diagram. There is a bit of a challenge. There's a bit of a challenge at the survey department. I know that they are trying to solve it, and I think some things are coming out. But the plans are not taking the 2 months and 8 weeks as they used to. When making a will, do the two witnesses have to be present at the same time to sign and date that as the still. The witnesses are not the ones who usually date it. Usually it's by anybody can date it. But the two witnesses must be present at the same time with the person who is making the will. So you can't ask me to sign your will today and ask another friend to sign it tomorrow. The will is going to be invalid, not good, not legal. So when the will is being signed, 3 persons must be there, you and the 2 witnesses. The person making the will and the 2 witnesses must be there. Remember that the witness is not to get anything out of your will, or the witness is both. So if you ask me to witness your will and leave something for me, I'm not going to get what is left for me unless the court says I can get it. Or if you ask my husband to witness it and you leave something for me, I can't get it either. So the witness or the witness's spouse should not get anything from the will. So if you make a will and you leave a car for me and I witness the will, I'm not going to get the car. But everybody else will get what is left for them in the will. The will is still valid. It's just that my piece will fail. And that is why I witness all the wills that I write, that I prepare for my clients. That means you can leave nothing for me. So I witness the wills that I make, and I usually witness the wills with persons in my office. Because I've had so many wills that I've got to probate where I can't find the witnesses. And it becomes a bit of a problem when you can't find the witnesses. Because then I have to do something called an affidavit of handwriting where somebody can say that, hey, I was very familiar with Mr. Brown's writing and I know that writing. But sometimes I went into a problem because Mr. Brown didn't sign his name, he made an X. And that's when you have a problem. Who's going to attest to that X? Look at the X Mr. Brown used to make. That's a bit of a problem. So it's important to know your witnesses. And if anybody in your will should die, write over the will. And I continue that a little while after the break. This is Land Solutions, and I am Gloria Brown.
Contractors, developers, and small builders. Contact Coast to Coast Group of Companies for high-quality concrete products. The time by Coast to Coast Group of Companies is
3 o'clock.
Buy a bag of Hypro feeds and win a bag of cash in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Hypro is back with another chance for you to win a share of millions in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Try for the grand prize of $3 million, weekly prizes of $100,000, plus daily prizes. To enter to buy any qualifying Hypro feed and text the entry code in the back for your chance to win a bag of cash in the Hypro Farm to Fortune promotion. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting Gaming and Lotteries Act.
You're listening to Land Solutions during both sides of the story, Poro 106 FM. Land Solutions, as the program celebrates 14 years. My goodness, time flies. Believe it or not, Land Solutions, 14 years and counting. We're taking your calls on the subject matter of the sale and purchase of land. So this is the time, this is the place. Any questions to deal with, to do with land matters, you've come to the right place. 876-922-4113-5. 876-922-4113-5. And the text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-279-8598, 876-279-8598. And there's also the 365-3346 number that you can use as well to get in touch with us here on Power 106 FM. The law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is found in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew. They also have an office at Shop 6 upstairs, the Jamaica National Building in Ocho Rios, St. Anne. And they encourage us to call ahead instead of just turning up. So let's give you the text line, same as the WhatsApp number for Land Solutions, 876-387-3183, 876-387-3183 for your text messages, WhatsApp messages, 876-387-3183. But the regular numbers, the business numbers for land, for the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company, those numbers are 908-3518, that's 876-908-3518, or 876-908-1950. So one of the numbers is 908-1950, and another one 908-3518. Here once again is attorney at law Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Welcome back, listeners. Please remember the numbers to call, 922-411-325. 922-411-325. And the text line, 387-3183. 876-387-3183. A text message. Good day, Ms. Brown. Can the court give 2 out of 4 children ownership of property without a letter of administration if there is no will? I would have to know about the circumstances, because I don't see if there's no will and the two have not shown the court that the parents gave it to them before. I don't see where the court would just say, hey, I'm going to give 2 of you. Are you sure the court just didn't grant letters of administration to these 2? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe the court gave those 2 letters of administration. And you are thinking that maybe the court gave the 2, but the court did not just get up and say, John and Mary, I'm giving you this property, and Susan and Peter not getting anything. That's not how the courts operate. So I would need a little bit more. Okay? I need a little bit more. I need a little bit more before I could answer you clearly. Because a lot of times you can't just jump to answer questions that are asked, because a lot of times the clients don't give you the full information. So you have to ask the question. Is a will valid without the signatures of 2 witnesses? No, it is not. If you don't have the 2 witnesses signing, then there is no will. And if the person who has made the will has not signed, there is no will. So please remember that. No witness, no will. No signature on the testator, no will. And remember that the person who is making the will can ask somebody to sign for them, So if Mr. Brown cannot write and have made the will, he can ask me to sign Flora Brown for John Brown. Or he can make an X as a marker. So there's no real reason for you not to be able to sign. There are a lot of ways how we can get around that. But the witnesses must be present at the same time and they must witness the will. I've seen too many persons come into my office to say, when my mother died, she made her will, but she didn't get to sign it. So we have to see the will here, and no matter how you tell them, it's not a will. If it's not signed, it is not a will. And a lot of us have these documents floating around because we intend to sign them, just not today. And then we get caught. Death catches up with us. And a lot of us blaming the will for the death. And as I said to a lot of the clients who come in and say, as Mama made the will, she died. Because Mama was dying when she made the will. It's not the will killer. She made it because she was dying. But let us not wait until we are dying to make these wills. And let us stop this thing to say that the will kill Mama, the will kill so on and so on. We need to stop that. It's 2024. These are very, 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 very modern days. All right, so this person is saying that the two relatives are saying the property was shared for them. You have a simple thing, you have a game show that says prove it. Ask them to prove it. Ask them to show you what is there, what the court said. Get a copy of the court order. Find out who was the lawyer, or just go down to the court and ask for a search to be done, so you can see the order from the judge. Probably the judge, probably they were granted letters of administration. Were you served with a notice? Did you get anything? All of that you need to look into. Find out who is the attorney. Because sometimes these children don't even understand themselves. They probably got the letters of administration as 2 of the 4 children, and you should have got notice for that. And when they got letters of administration, it means that they are in charge. They can go about sharing, but it doesn't mean that it's theirs alone. So you need to probably get a little bit more information. The number to call 922-411-325. The text line is 387-3183. Text line 387-3183. Remember, you can send me an email to gloria@landsolutionsja.com. gloria@landsolutionsja.com. In order to, if you want to get some more information on me, on your land situation. And remember, the diaspora family out there, who were very much here in Jamaica for the conference, when Dervan interacted with greatly. Land is always an important part, because no matter what we hear about Jamaica, it's home, and many persons want to retire here. And remember, as I said to persons, when they feel that crime is taking over, I say many of us still live here, we walk about freely, and we go about our business, we go to work every day, and we take bus and we take taxi. So a lot of the sensationalism that you see around there, it's not a lot of it is not as it is portrayed, because it's just because a lot of countries not counting how many people die on the road, and you don't see in the statistics and how many people killed and so on. A lot of countries not letting you know that. Now, we need to do better. We need to do better as a people, and we need to love one another a little more and care about each other a little more. But we still live here. I know the test results have come out, and I want to say all the best to the children. I know many of them did not get to the schools the schools of choice, and every year I hear when the ministry says that 80% of children have got school of choice. It really annoys me when I hear that, because the children are now asked. In years gone by, the children were given a choice. You had to choose 3 schools. Now they have to choose 7 schools. And I mean, a part of it is the politics. Just as well, when you look at the grades that the children get for the PEP, nobody can understand it. Because, I don't have the substance, and so forgive me, I can't understand it. So when a child gets 320 per math, I don't know what that means. Why not just mark the thing out of 100? When they get 320 for maths and 275 for English, I don't know what that means. And I think a lot of times that is how we baffle people like me who probably don't have the sense to understand these things. So I was saying, when you are saying that 80% of the children got their schools of choice, Okay, and so therefore the children should be happy. We know it's not true. The years gone by, children had 3 choices. Now they have 7. So a lot of them even struggling to find number 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you're from Steigerville, where you have not many schools around. It's struggling to find 7 schools to put the children in. A lot of what they put are schools that they pray to God they won't pass for. And I guess it's the reality all over Jamaica. Nobody is happy with the 6th choice or the 5th choice or the 7th choice. So let us not crow and say that the children have got the schools of choice. Because the children don't want this. Most of them really want the 2nd choice. Some parents will tell you that they would love to put one school as number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So a lot of things. But children, do the best you can. Do the best you can. And the reality is, it don't matter what you want to say. The reality is that some children have a better chance because of where they are passed for. They're going to schools that have equipment. They're going to schools that have extracurricular activities. They're going to schools where teachers push a little bit more because they have to be accountable. A lot of that. A lot of that. Just look at the rankings. Just look at the 2024 rankings. Some schools are ranked at 100%, 99%. Some are ranked at 2%. And you tell me to be happy when my child passed for a 2% score, please. Please stop. Please stop. We need to have all the schools ranking at the 100%. And a lot of these schools as well, we need to make them into vocational schools. Because when you're going to send a child to a school who has got 6 for ability, 6. That's one of them that you can understand because that one is marked out of 100. When a child gets 6 for the ability component of the test, when you send it, I can't talk about the English when they get the 200 and odd because I don't know what that means. But a lot of these children, you're sending them to these schools, poor teachers. And a lot of time when a child has problems learning, that child becomes very disruptive, that child becomes angry. And a lot of these kids who are having struggles with learning, put them before a machine, put them before a piece of equipment, and they put those who get in 100, they put them to shame. So while we're pushing the STEM for the maths and the English and the science and whatever, we need to put some things where the children can get the technical competence. Look at the bauxite companies on the news this morning. For some of the technical areas, they have to be sending to Cuba for workers. And you talk to some of these 12-year-olds who are struggling in school in the maths and the English and the social studies and the science, and you're surprised what they can do with their hands. I don't know. Ms. Brown, the 2 children claim adverse possession through our decision in the court, and the judge ruled in their favor without a will. But our father will even dictate to the registered title holder. So maybe these 2 children, I'm going back to the person who said that the court gave 2 children property. Did anybody contest it? Did anybody oppose the application? Because if you file an application in court, and nobody opposes, then the court is going to give to rule in favor of those persons. And also, remember that the adverse possession application does not usually go through the court. So I would have to get much more because remember what judges are sent to the people, so they would weigh the evidence. So we'd have to see much, much more. I can't just rule on what the judge has said or what the court has decided. There must have been much, much more involved in relation to that. So we can't just ask Ms. Brown, can the court give 2 children? They must have given proper evidence to convince a judge. I know our judges are extremely smart, well-trained, competent persons. So they must have ruled on the evidence that was there. So if you are not satisfied, go back to your attorney and let the attorney do an appeal. Go to the Court of Appeal. And we hear a lot about the Court of Appeal in the news these days. You can always appeal, and the Court of Appeal will look at the situation. And they won't just you can't just go jump ahead and appeal because they don't like the judgment. You have to have proper reasons to say that the judge made a mistake or etc., in order to put that case. So go back to your attorney and ask the attorney to appeal the case. And you say your father is the title holder, but if there's a case for wills and wills, if your father has not been here for more than 12 years, you would lose his claim, even though he has, or not just in Jamaica for more than 12 years, but has not exercised any kind of ownership, then your father could have lost his claim in the property. I'm glad to say that you are telling me that the appeal is being done. Let us see what's happening. The number to call 922-411-325. Paying land tax is not, that means you own the land. It's something I I talk about on my program all this time, and I'll continue with it. After the break, this is Land Solutions and Gloria Brown. We'll be back with you for the last segment shortly.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
3:15.
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
In 2017, we created the Youth Summer Employment Program. Over 40,000 young people have been professionally trained and deployed to help the ministry and the local authorities in implementing critical functions while earning a good income. I am pleased to announce that this year, the Youth Summer Employment Program for the first time will be employing 10,000 young people in Jamaica for the summer, for the first time.
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
It's the final segment of today's edition of Land Solutions, the program where all your land-related matters are dealt with. So you still have a little time. Those of you who have been wavering and not quite sure what you want to say or which question you want to ask or otherwise, here's your opportunity before we wrap today's edition of Land Solutions. Here's a reminder, the numbers to call: 876-922-4113-5, 876-922-4113-5, and the text line and the WhatsApp number are one and the same. The numbers to call: 876-387-3183. That's the text line, same as the WhatsApp number: 876-387-3183. And there's also 876-365-3346, 876-365-3346. And remember, the law firm Brown, Findlay and Company is headquartered in Suite 39 of the Winchester Business Center, corner of Winchester Road and Hope Road in Halfway Tree, St. Andrew, and is still taking your feedback on the sale and purchase of land, anything at all that you have in terms of questions having to do with the sale and purchase of land. You've come to the right place, and the lines are open, and we'll take your calls as they come in. 876-387-3183 is the text line, same as the WhatsApp number. Here once again is your host on today's edition of Land Solutions, attorney at law, Gloria Brown.
Thank you, Dervan. Welcome back to Land Solutions. Please remember the text line 876-387-3183. A text message: good day, Miss Brown. My mother has a house on a land that is leased. She's now deceased. What can I do as a daughter? Can I sell that house? No, you can't. You'd have to go and administer your mother's estate first. And if it's a chattel house, you need to look at the lease, because maybe the lease, suppose the lease, mama got the land to lease for 10 years. And the 10 years are up. Then if it is a chattel house, that means a house you can lift up like a board house, then somebody, you could sell it and the person could take it up off the land. But if it's a concrete house and the lease is up, the house might belong to the owner. But even if it belongs to mama still and it's a house that can be lifted up, you have to go and administer your mother's estate. Or she made a will, you probate the will. But you can't just get up and say, mama died, I'm going to sell her things. And that's what is happening. And that's why a lot of people can't get any title. Because a lot of people selling properties that they don't own. You can't say your father died and because daddy has died, the house is now mine. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. You have to go and administer your parents' estate in order to get what they have died leaving. So a lot of us buy the things and we don't buy them properly, and you can't get a title. And you're upset because Miss Brown can't get the title for you when you have not bought it the right way. So I'm encouraging persons, especially those outside of Jamaica, do not send your money to your relatives to buy a piece of land because you hear that Mr. Brown, big son, selling off the property and everybody buying it. So you have to get into the action. And then when you can't get a title now, then you start crying and saying how Jamaicans wicked. Please do not spend your hard-earned money because a lot of you abroad work much harder than us because most of us out here don't have 3 jobs or 2. Most of us after 1 we go home and have a good time and watch cricket. Many of you in order to survive over there. And many of us over here think that your life is easy. And maybe a lot of times those abroad give that impression that it is easy and we know it is not because if the sky looks dark, we're not going to work because the rain going to fall. Even when ice on the road over there, you better go in England and America and Canada if you don't have any work. I was telling a little young lady today that we have like 14 days vacation leave, 10 days sick leave, 20 days vacation, departmental leave, sick leave. And she was saying if you're absent a day, then you don't get paid for that day. We don't have those long leaves that we have out here in Jamaica. So do not send the money that you work so hard for in Jamaica to buy the land that Mr. Brown big son is selling because the little son going to come to you for his money. Let Mr. Brown big son go and probate Mr. Brown's will or administer Mr. Brown's estate to put him in a position to sell. And you can't see people just a big Mr. Brown has the 8-acre piece of land and everybody buying a little piece here so and there. So it does not work like that. You need to go to the parish council and get permission to cut up the land. And the parish council might say those who get a house spot, you need to ask Mr. Brown big son to sell you a bigger piece, but he doesn't have any bigger piece because everybody build around you. The good news is that there's a law passed in 2005. If you have bought a piece of land for more than 7 years, then we can get a waiver of the parish council subdivision for you or things being well. Because if the title of the land is not to be subdivided full stop, then you might run into problems. So a lot of things to consider. So contact a land lawyer before you spend your money here to buy land.
A quick one, a quick one for you, Miss Brown. I'm not sure if somebody is trying to take the mickey out of us, so to speak, or if this is serious. Dervan and Gloria, good day. There is a video circulating with a pastor who told people that God told him to sell lots of land in heaven. Should we buy lots?
Well, maybe that person is just showing us how ridiculous we are in terms of what we're willing to buy.
Can you imagine?
Yes, but I could say there are some persons who might be willing to pay. But remember that up there is free. In my father's house and many rooms, he wasn't there was selling already.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the fair place for you.
That's right.
All right? Free preparation. But another time, persons really, I think this is so important though, what the first has said, because it just shows how ridiculous it is to many of us. First of all, we follow what a lot of pastors tell us. Okay? And I won't touch that one today since it's land solutions. But please, let us think before we act. And remember that it is salvation is free, and so is the place being prepared.
That's right.
Thank you for that one, Dervan.
Sure, no problem.
The number to call 922-411-325. The text line 387-3183. Text line 387-3183. If you want me to get a title for you, then all you have to do is just text me the word title to 876-387-3183. Just text the word title and I'll gladly help you to get a title. And I'm begging everybody, you have a little house on your little piece of the rock, survey the little piece of land. All you need to do, make sure you show some access, some road to show how you get into the land. And that's another problem we're having. Persons are feeling that they can just go and just block the access because if somebody has been using the access for such and such a time, you can't just go and block the access. You have to provide them with new access. You can't just let up and say, hey, I'm taking back the road. It doesn't work like that. And a lot of us waste a lot of time in court because we are greedy and we are unreasonable and we are unfair. So I'm begging persons to be very, very careful when you survey your land. Make sure that surveyors are smart people that will always show you where your access is. Protect your access. If somebody comes to block it, then start an action in court right away to get them to open it up. what am I saying to my listeners? Remember that the first thing I told you is that come August 8th will make 14 years of land, 13 years, sorry, of Land Solutions. We started Land Solutions August 8th, 2011. August 8th, 2011. Remember that was usually have that in the night. We used to have the night program and persons, and then there was we used to have a repeat of the program as well. We started Land Solutions, and there are so many persons who tell me they hardly miss this program. They don't miss Land Solutions, they don't take the radio off for 106. So many persons have learned, have created, Felicia and I have created so many village lawyers throughout Jamaica, persons with knowledge, and that's what we want. So when you see persons doing something that's not right in the community, you can always say, you don't buy it like that, don't do it like that. And remember, JPs, I know a lot of justices of the peace who listen to this program, and I'm encouraging you when persons come to you to look about land matters, send them to lawyers. Because a lot of times you do the indenture or the common law title or the conveyance, you do it for land and the land already has a title. And persons don't buy land unless you see a survey diagram for it or a title, so you know how much land you are buying. And remember that even though I encourage the persons who is having family problems to sell the land, I still say that with a caveat. Remember that a lot of persons trying to sell trouble, so careful how you buy trouble. So those are some of the things I want to encourage my listeners on. And I'm encouraging you as well to make the will. Make the will so we leave certainty behind for our children. And sometimes instead of adding the one child on it or the two children, it might suit you sometimes to make a will where you can change that. Because remember, you can make a will every day. You make one today and that child don't have any manners, you leave it to. You change it and leave it for another one tomorrow. And we have something in Jamaica called freedom of testamentary disposition. Usually I try not to use big words on the program. But what freedom of testamentary disposition means is that persons are free to dispose of their properties as they seem fit. You don't have to leave it for your son or your wife or your husband or your daughter. You can leave it for whoever you want, your cousin, the child who looks after you, the helper. You can leave it for anybody you want. But we also have a law called the Inheritance Act, where after you have left your property and if you should pass on, then somebody can take the will to court to say that, hey, Mama died and never left anything for me and she was looking after me because I am disabled. Because the court won't just get up and change Mama's will because Mama did not leave anything for you. The court will look to see why she has not left anything for you, what you have for yourself, what she died leaving, all of those things. And a listener in St. Louis is congratulating us on 14 years of service to us, the listeners. Okay, to the listeners, thank you so much, my brethren in St. Elizabeth. Thank you so much, Clinton, and I really hope that you have learned a lot and that you have sorted out the land papers and have the title and have the will in place. And remember that we need to leave that so we can rest in peace and don't have the children fighting every day to say that they should get this and they should get that. And I am the first one and I am the last one and I am the best looking one and I am the one who remember all of those things will not give you ownership of land. So saying that you very mama won't make you the owner. To say you are the best looking one or the only boy or the first boy or the last boy, that will not give you more than anybody else. All the children are equal. And for you to say you have outside and inside children, but you don't have outside and inside children again, a child is a child, remember that. So it doesn't matter if daddy has some children in the marriage and some outside the marriage, they are all entitled. So we thank persons who continue to listen to Land Solutions. And remember that the program is aired every Monday on Power 106 at 2:30. And we look forward to sharing with you to enlighten you. Any issues you have, anything related to land, always send us a message, give us a call, and we'll gladly help you, because our aim is to have the land stock in such a place, in such a state that persons can go and access credit, use their titles to improve their lot, to send their children to school, to get a better house, to get a road, to make life better, so the children can live in more, in some kind of luxury, or if not even luxury, have some kind of orderly living. So thank you again. I'm Gloria Brown. Thanks to Dervan. Thanks to Adrian. And we join you again next week on Land Solutions. Have a good day.
Help us protect Jamaica's borders. Tell us about any illegal guns coming through customs controlled areas. Call Crime Stop at 311. The time by the Jamaica Customs Agency is 3:30.
My HR Plus has been a game changer since its implementation. Employees have greater access and control over their personal information. They can view their records online, track monthly payments, and the big deal is printing their own payslip without waiting on HR. I am Julian Tomlinson, Human Resources Manager at Jazz, and I endorse My HR Plus in building a better public sector.
Brought to you by the Transformation Implementation Unit.
Buy a bag of Hypro feeds and win a bag of cash in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Hypro is back with another chance for you to win a share of millions in the Farm to Fortune promotion. Try for the grand prize of $3 million, weekly prizes of $100,000, plus daily prizes. To enter, buy any qualifying Hypro feed and text the entry code in the bag for your chance to win a bag of cash in the Hypro Farm to Fortune promotion. Conditions apply. Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act.
Pardon? Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world, taking your calls on 876-922-4112 to 5, 876-922-4112 to 5. The text line, same as the WhatsApp number, 876-365-3346. 876-365-3346. And let's see what we have here. Quite a lot of messages dating back to about a week or more ago. But in the meantime, let's go with this afternoon's edition right away, no further delay. And let's say hello, good afternoon, and thank you for calling us here on Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM. Welcome.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome.
All right, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure.
All right, so calling from Dervan High School. This is Principal Harris calling from Dervan High School.
Mr. Principal, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Trying to manage over 2,000 students and to make sure that we are trending as a school.
Well, let's back up a bit and go from the beginning. How would you characterize the just concluded academic year?
All right, so it's a year where almost at the end we will be closing school on July 5. And to date, based on our school improvement plan, we have achieved most of our targets.
There are some targets that we would have set for our academic programs, others for extracurricular, which includes sports, and there are targets in relation to safety and security. So overall, I can say that it has been a very
fulfilling time.
Fulfilling year, but also there were challenges that we had to manage, and manage we did, and I can say that we have achieved a successful time.
And what can you tell us with respect to the cohort of students who are just about on their way for school for the new academic year? Has their orientation started yet?
No, we have not received our list of students. That should be coming to us any day now. The results were out last week, and usually during the course of this week into next week, we will get our list of students. But usually we get over 400 students, which when you compare to most schools, that would be one of the largest cohorts of intake. Edwin Allen has a population of 2,150 students.
My word.
Yes. So you can imagine the dynamic.
And are you on a shift system or regular school day?
Regular school day.
Oh, that's a sizable property then, isn't it?
Yes, it is. But we try to make sure that no child is left behind. And we have a very active extracurricular program, extra enrichment programs to make sure that if you don't achieve the 5 in 5, we have what is called 5 in 5. That after 5 years, you should leave Edwin Allen with 5 external subjects. And that includes CXT, City and Guilds, and NCTVET offerings. And for you to make the graduation list, you must achieve 5 subjects inclusive of math and English and a skill, and 2 others. And we have seen that a number of our students would have made the mark, but there are some that would have not achieved 5 subjects, but they are doing well in our enrichment programs, especially our rich track and field program.
And can you give us a little more on the subject of your enrichment program?
So these include clubs and societies. So we have over 21 clubs and societies, 4-H club, drama, we have robotics, we have several other clubs, videographic clubs, we have clubs that debating and society, etc. Yes, and in addition to those offerings, we also give our students the opportunity to engage in track and field, football, netball. Cricket is not so active at the moment because we are struggling with finding a second field.
I thought you were going to say because West Indies have been dropping the ball.
Well, I can tell you that I did not sleep well last night.
Oh boy!
Because of the batting collapse, and we did not get a chance to really put enough runs on the table.
Yes.
But that is not the reason. The reason for not doing cricket is because of the rich track and field program that we have, both boys and girls.
Yes.
And you know that cricket needs a field of itself to have the boys engage in that program. So we are now looking at a second field where we can have a cricket pitch and net, etc. So that's the reason why we are not so active in sports, in cricket rather, at this moment.
Yes. All right, hold a moment, please, Principal Harris. We'll take this break and come back in just a moment.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now.
It's 3:46 on Power 106.
It continues to be all smiles at Wellington Dental. We offer dental care for the entire family, including cleaning, filling, whitening, and other dental services. There's wheelchair access and an exciting play area for the children. Wellington Dental, 57 Wellington Street, Spanish Town. Telephone 876-984-5482 or 876-749-3515.
Taxpayers, pay your taxes online at www.jamaicatax.gov.jm with a valid credit card or debit card with credit card functions. It's safe, quick, and convenient. So many options: BNS Electronic Direct Deposit, NCB Online Banking, and Direct Funds Transfer. Android users, you can pay through our mobile app. Call 888-TAX-HELP for details. Tax Administration Jamaica, working together to serve you even better. How much do you know about spices and the impact they have on your everyday life? Join us every first and third Thursday during Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie at 6:18 a.m. for Spice of Jamaica. We'll give you tips, tidbits, and interviews about the revitalization and sustainability of the Jamaican spices, including ginger, turmeric, and pimento. That's Spice of Jamaica every first and third Thursday at 6:18 a.m. during Farm Talk with Althea McKenzie, right here on Power 106 FM. Spice of Jamaica is brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture Food for Progress Jamaica Spices Project.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm. We're spending some time virtually with the principal of Edwin Allen High School, Jermaine Harris, and getting an understanding of how things have gone in the outgoing academic year and the plans for the coming academic year, and getting an idea of some of the numbers as well. More than 2,000 students they have to cater to, and counting, I'm sure. And thank you very much for holding the line, Mr. Harris.
All right, thank you. Yes, I'm still here.
Yes. So what about inventory? Taking inventory. If you were to take inventory, what would we find out about Edwin Allen High School as far as infrastructure and resources are concerned?
So that is always a concern for most schools, if not all schools in Jamaica. And because of our numbers, we would have more challenge than others. So the capacity of this school is 1,600. So we are operating above our capacity. And because of that, we have a shortage of classrooms, spaces for students. So for each grade, we have 12 form classes from 1 to 12. And we have to house some of those classes in our auditoriums. And in order for us to have some level of enclosure and privacy for teachers and students, we have to use some boards to separate the classes. And this is not conducive to the level of effective teaching and learning that we would want to have at Edwin Allen High School. So the major resource constraints that we have has to do with the limited classroom spaces. In addition to that, we also have challenges as it relates to ICT, computers.
That's information and communications technologies.
Yeah. Computers, projectors, smart boards, laptops, tablets, etc. So we would want to incorporate more information communication technology into the teaching and learning process. But we don't have adequate equipment for our students to work with. In addition to that, because of where we are located, and this is an issue for most rural area high schools, the connectivity with the internet. So the speed of the internet is not that fast and it is not reliable. So you would have internet at this moment, next moment you don't have it. So even though we encourage our teachers to implement 21st century cutting edge methodology, which include incorporating their ICT into the teaching and learning process, we do not have sufficient equipment to work with along with the connectivity with the internet. So those are two of the major impediments, so to speak, to achieving our outputs as it relates to academics. Also, if we should look at another inventory challenge, it has to do with the transportation to and from school. And this is not just an Edwin Allen issue, but most of the schools in the rural area. Because we don't have a designated transportation system, many of our students have to rely on private arrangements. And almost 40% of our students at Edwin Allen on a given day are late for school. Because school starts at 8 o'clock, and at 8 o'clock we don't have 60% of our students to start the school day.
And is it due to the recalcitrance of the students or the inefficiency of the transport system?
Inefficiency of the transport system, because they don't have a designated, some of them don't have a designated bus or car to take them to school. So they will have to rely on the arrangements that are out there from, most times robot taxis and for the coaster buses to transport them to and from school. And because of our location and the geography in terms of where our students come from, you have students traveling as far as Trelawney to get to school, students traveling from Central Clarendon, that's there, and Lionel Town to get to school. You have students traveling from Mandeville, yes, to get to Frankfield. It poses a challenge in terms of not having the formalized, designated transportation system. So that also contributed to us not achieving that level of academic output that we would want at Edwin Allen High School. So those are the three big ticket items, I would say, that we need to address in the short to medium term. The class, the spaces, so we need to remove those classes out of the auditorium and have more enclosed rooms which are retrofitted with the necessary resources for teaching and learning. We need to reduce the class sizes, especially for those students who are not performing at the proficient and highly proficient level. Some of these students are still developing. Some of them are starters, and you do need to cut down those class sizes to a maximum of 20. But you need additional classrooms in order to do that, as well as the ICT resources and to treat with the high level of unpunctuality. So those are the three big ticket items that we're working on improving.
How's the support from the Alumni Association?
So the support has been good in part. So when you have a school that started in 1964, and the school would have graduated an average of 250 students. Yes, well, in 1964, the number was roughly 350, and that has grown to over 2,000. But you have a large past student group out there. But the support to the school has been good, but it is from a small subset.
Mm-hmm.
And these are mainly students who graduated from the 60s, 70s, 80s. Yes? But when you get to the younger students, you do not get the support. I'm not sure if it's because they are still sort of trying to find their way in terms of their career and family. But you find the older past students ready and willing to assist once we reach out to them. So what we have done in order to improve that, because we have been very proactive in our 60th year, is that we have launched our Adrenaline High School Alumni Association Secretariat. And this secretariat will manage the affairs of the past students. Before, it was managed by the principal's office, but now we will have a designated office that will coordinate all the activities, which include assistance to the school. So, in a nutshell, the support is commendable, but it is not enough. But we are being proactive to say, how can we find a way to get more past students to buy into this Adrenaline brand? Adrenaline is called Comfrey. So when you talk to people, they tell you that Comfrey, because the school would have evolved over the years from Frankfield High School, Comprehensive, and then it was changed to Adrenaline Comprehensive High School, and now Adrenaline High School. But persons still see the Comfrey as the brand, and we are trying to see how we can get more Comfrey members to come on board.
Is it too early to get an idea of the academic academic tendencies of this new cohort, or you're pretty much still trying to continue the preparations for the new academic year?
That's the grade sizes that are coming in.
Yes.
As I said earlier, we have not gotten our numbers as yet, so we're not able to dissect to see because all the ministry categorize them now is they are placed in highly proficiency, proficient, and developing. But we have not yet received our numbers, so we're not able to say what the grouping looks like yet. But as soon as we get them, we tend to do our assessment, and and then we do our orientation and our preparatory work for the new school year. But we have not gotten those data just yet.
Okay, so this is your 60th year. So you haven't started to celebrate yet, have you?
Yes, certainly.
Oh, you have. Tell us about it, please.
Good. So the birthday was in January.
Uh-huh.
So the school started out January 27, 1964.
I'm sorry, hold on. We just need to take a break. One moment, please.
Good.
At Wellington Dental, they offer cleaning, filling, whitening, and other services for the entire family. The time by Wellington Dental is
4:01 in the afternoon here at Broadcast House, 32 Lyndhurst Road, Kingston 5, St. Andrew, Jamaica.
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
In 2017, we created the Youth Summer Employment Program. Over 40,000 young people have been professionally trained and deployed to help the ministry and the local authorities in implementing critical functions while earning a good income. I am pleased to announce that this year, the Youth Summer Employment Program for the first time will be employing 10,000 young people in Jamaica for the summer, for the first time.
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
Let the 60th anniversary celebrations begin. Edwin Allen High School, marking 60 years of service to this country and by extension, the world. We've been speaking with the principal of Edwin Allen High School, Mr. Jermaine Harris. So I think you started talking about the celebrations before we took the break just now.
Yes, I did. So it is a year-long celebration, and we started in January. So the birthday of the school was actually January 27th. And we had a grand celebration during that week, which we call Edwin Allen Week. And we had several activities to mark the occasion. But I just want to highlight the rest of the activities for this year.
Sure, by all means.
Good.
Yes.
So the 1st of July, we will be having the winners of the 60th anniversary essay competition getting their awards. Then on July 3rd, we'll be having 3 activities. Our first principal, FC Lati, is now deceased. We will be having a wreath-laying ceremony to honor his life on that day. That's July 3rd. Also on July 3rd, we will be unveiling the 60th anniversary mural at school. And then to close off these activities, we'll be having a lunch to honor our pioneer staff and students at school. Then on July 4th, we'll be having our Grand Jerk Fest, which will also serve as our final fundraising activity for the current school year. And we will be involving the current students and the past students. So we have dubbed it 1964 meets 2024. Then on July 9th, we'll be having Comfrey Day. And that will be the grand class reunion where we're inviting all the different year groups from 1969 to 2023 to visit their school and for us to have a grand reunion. Then on July 11th, we'll be having our beach trip to Puerto Rico Beach. And then the highlight of the 60th anniversary celebration will be on the 13th of July at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. We'll be having our 60th anniversary grand gala dinner. And in that event, we're hoping to have at least 400 past students and friends and teachers packed in the Pegasus Hotel for us to celebrate our grand gala. The guest speaker will be Senator Don Weddy. We will also have Andrea Delfita Wright, who is a past student. She will be doing MC duties. And we will have the Fabulous Five entertaining us throughout the night. The cost of the ticket is 20,000 Jamaican dollars. And we're asking past students from in the diaspora and in Jamaica to come and allow us to celebrate. Tickets are still available and they can contact the principal. I don't know if you'll give me an opportunity to say this, but they can contact the principal at 876-233-8278. That's 876-233-8278 if they're interested in acquiring their tickets for that grand gala on the 13th of July. And then we have our 60th anniversary health fair, and this will be a community event where we will engage and provide services to the Frankfield community and its environs. And then we'll be having our 60th anniversary tree planting exercise in October. And then we will close the year with our 60th anniversary 5K run walk in November. So it's an entire year of activities that we are taking on to make sure that our Big 60, our Grand Jubilee year, is one that will go down in history as one that person will speak about. So these are the activities, and we are asking past students and friends to reach out to the school for more information.
And is it where are the ticket outlets, or what's the means by which Jamaicans and friends of Jamaica at home and abroad can get tickets to be able to make their contribution?
Okay, great. So for persons in the United States, they can contact the Mid-Atlantic chapter. That's the chapter located in New York. They can contact that chapter. Just going to give an information here, just a moment. All right, so they can contact the president of that chapter, who is Colin Burrell, or the secretary, Adrian Lawrence. And there is a chapter also in Canada that is led by Marvin Watson, and they can contact him. Once they reach out to me, I will give them their contact details, and then they can get tickets from Canada, USA, and then there is also a chapter in the UK that they can also get their tickets from. So there are 4 outlets: the USA, Canada, UK, and Jamaica at the school. So these are the outlets that they can get their tickets.
Yes. And what are your expectations from those who will be, in a manner of speaking, petitioned for their support? how hopeful are you that you'll be able to meet a reasonable, for starters, a reasonable quota as you seek to generate the kinds of revenues that could go a far way in resourcing the institution, among other things?
All right, there is no definitive number. What we are anticipating is that out of the 60th anniversary celebration, we will get persons to have that Edwin Allen Humphrey spirit, that they will feel inclined to pay forward and to give back to the school so that we can achieve all these wonderful targets that we have. So in terms of a number, there's not a definitive number. The Secretariat is relatively new, and I know that the Board of Management for the Secretariat, they will put together their action plan and they will share it with the different chapters that are currently established, as well as use the different social media pages to invite and encourage past students to join this great movement, because without their support, the issues that I would have mentioned in terms of the infrastructural improvement and the resources, we will not be able to achieve those because of the limited resource that we get for school funding. So there is not a definitive number, but we are asking for persons to come on board, to encourage others, as the Jamaican saying, one poker,
Full basket,
and every nickel.
make a muckle.
That's it. We are asking all past students. If you can't give big, reach out to the school, visit your school, because big things are going on at your school, but we can do more. I can tell you, Dervan, for our sports program, it is really a stressful time for any principal to manage. For us to be 10 times champion, it takes a lot. Yes, and therefore we're asking past students and friends of Edwin Allen, friends of company, to come on board and to have the conversation with the principal, have the conversation with the secretary to see how we can assist us to improve and maintain this rich legacy here in Saturday.
What about corporate support? How willing have members of the corporate community been as far as this effort of Edwin Allen is concerned, as you look to mark 60 years?
All right, so the support has been encouraging. There is always room for improvement. But what I realized, and I want to commend the companies that are on board, the companies, they are willing to assist us with our sports program. You get the support, not enough, but when you reach out, you will get the assistance. But in terms of the other operations, the other dynamics, you do not get that support as readily.
All right, let's talk about the other dynamics right after this break, please. We're speaking with the principal of Edwin Allen High School, Mr. Jermaine Harris.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:15.
Importers. Shipments requiring you to pay customs duties and taxes are cleared on a customs goods declaration, known as an IM4 or IMS4. Ask your clearing agent to provide your customs declaration, customs assessment notice, and customs receipt once duties and taxes are paid. Where your clearing agent may not be able to provide the IM4 or IMS4, request your customs goods declaration registration number or C number, which can be used to verify your payments. Importers, request your IM4, IMS4, or C number. It is your right. For details, email the Jamaica Customs Agency at public.relations@jca.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Are you looking for a powerful platform to promote your business in North America or the UK? Look no further than The Gleaner. Reach the diaspora and ignite brand awareness through your geo-targeted publications. Call 876-922-3400 or your Gleaner representative to explore the available options and book your ads. Or email us at advertising@gleanerjm.com. Actualize your brand's potential today with The Gleaner, where life unfolds.
Thanks a lot for staying with us here on your program, Both Sides of the Story, Power 106 FM. I'm Dervan Malcolm, and we're delighted to be sharing with our listeners at home and abroad the 60th anniversary celebrations of Edwin Allen High School. And we are playing our part to get the word out there, to help to get the word out there in support of education and the development of our young people. And so we want to encourage all who have an interest, whether because we are students, past students, corporate Jamaica, and otherwise. Here's an opportunity to start the new academic year with a bang by supporting the fundraising efforts of this noble institution, which continues to shine its collective light in many dark corners and give us hope. So we want to, repetition. The R in radio is for repetition. And repetition, they say, is the greatest form of pedagogy or pedagogy. Either pronunciation is accepted. And so we want to keep the word out there. And therefore, we're going to ask Principal Jermaine Harris to remind us of the contact details so that those who would like to support the efforts of the school can do so with the requisite information. So, Principal Harris, over to you.
All right, so the contact information for the school, the landline number, I'm going to give that number, is 876-987-2515. That's 876-987-2515. And for the mobile number, it's 876-233-8278. That's 876-233-8278. And we have some established chapters. And I'll just give the contact person for those chapters. And when persons reach out to the school, we can provide other information for those chapters. So we have the Mid-Atlantic chapter out of New York, and the contact persons are Colin Burrell and Adrian Lawrence. Over in Canada, we have the Canadian chapter, Marvin Watson is over there organizing things, so you can contact him. In UK, there is also a chapter in UK, and Mr. His name is slipping me now, but I'll give you shortly.
Yes.
But over in UK, you have Mr. Lawrence that is coordinating things over there in UK. And then in Kingston, I forgot to to indicate. Sorry, so in UK, just a moment, we have Mr. Wayne Simmons. Wayne Simmons in UK that you can contact. That is a relatively new chapter. And then in Kingston, we have the Kingston chapter, and that's Mr. Paul Roach. Paul Roach. So persons who are living in the urban areas in Kingston, you can contact Paul Roach. And then in USA, we have Colin Burrell. In UK, we have Wayne Simmons. And in Canada, we have Marvin Watson. And at school, you can contact Principal Harris, and I will connect all the dots.
Yes.
So there are avenues for persons to reach out to these groups and to the school. But what we're asking the wide cross-section of past students, and not just past students, but friends and corporate Jamaica, and lovers of the Edwin Allen brand, the country brand, is to let us use the 60th anniversary as the launching pad, yes, to advance this great product that we have here, tending to over 2,000 students, over 160 staff. Yes, we want to make sure that we continue to put things in place that we can have a brighter and successful future. So we are encouraging all and sundry to come on board. And once we do that, we will be able to expand all our programs here at Edwin Allen High School.
And there are some rudimentary things that are done at this time of year, leading up to the start of the new academic year. Uh, what has your experience been like at Edwin Allen with respect to resourcing the institution within this brief window of opportunity between the closing of the outgoing academic year and the opening of the incoming year?
So it is customary that once school is out, and that will be on the 5th of July, our school leaving ceremony will be this Friday. That's July 28th, starting at 10 a.m. So also want to invite past students and friends to that event. But after July 5, we usually start our back to school repairs. And the Ministry of Education would have sent funding arrangement for back to school. And we will now fix the furniture. We will do repainting. We will do corrective work to classroom, bathroom facilities, staff room, etc. So that is usually a big project for schools and for Edwin Allen during the summer.
Are
the
the
principals
sorry?
do not get a summer break. Yes, teachers get a break, but principals do not, because we have to stay back now to make sure that the plan is ready for September.
Are the students themselves ever involved in work like cleaning up the furniture, helping to repair furniture, that kind of thing?
Not in a
Structured
large
way.
scale,
Okay.
not in a large scale. The students who are involved in the technical and vocational subjects, for example, building, construction, and welding technology, those students are usually engaged by their teachers to come back and to do some work. But on a large wholesale, no. We don't usually invite the students back. It's usually just a small number along with workmen that will do the repairs and improvement of the plant for September.
And I asked the question because my thinking is, if the students themselves, I mean, it can't be on a major scale, obviously, but if you could get a cohort of students to experience what it is like to repair the furniture, they would potentially or possibly uh, come to have a better appreciation for the furniture. So instead of, and I'm not accusing anybody, but instead of throwing a chair or a desk or something like that, because you yourself would have been involved in the repairing of the furniture and the painting up of the furniture or whatever, spraying, etc., you are less likely to go damaging the furniture. Just a thought.
That's an excellent thought, and it's something that we can always sit and we discuss, especially you may not have the students who live distance from the school, but those students that are close to Eden Alley that can walk to school. It is something that we can look at, because many of our students, they don't have that level of maturity.
Keyword. Right? I like that word. Yes, maturity.
To care for the environment. So we have to have programs and projects to incentivize them to keep their school campus clean.
Yes.
Yes, so I do agree with you that if we could get more of the students involved to understand that we have to spend millions to repair because you do not care for the resources. So that is something which we can always explore and see how the feasible we can get that going.
Is there a priority list that you are able to refer to and sort of create that sense of expectation and potential acquisition of resources, etc.? So,
certainly.
Yes.
Certainly. The list is exhaustive, but in terms of the priority areas that we're focusing for this year and within the next 5 years, we want to modernize our labs and our library and our workshops. So our labs, our physics, chemistry, and our biology labs have not seen a major improvement since the start of the school. We have been doing some cosmetic work because the resources
can't go that far.
Can't go far. So previous principals, and I must commend the previous principals, we have had 3 appointed principals, one acting principal, and then yours truly would be the 5th principal since 1964. So I must pay homage to S.C. Latti, the first principal, then Elroy Ricketts, and then we had Dr. Everton Walters, and then Mrs. Donna Barrett Reed acted for 2 years. But why I made mention of them is that they would have tried with the limited resources that they had. But the science labs need to be modernized to meet the 21st century standard. Also, our library, we want to retrofit the library into an e-library.
One moment, please. One moment.
You're
listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now
4:30.
Excerpt of Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
Last year, Madam Speaker, the government spent over $100 million on public cemeteries. This year, Madam Speaker, we'll be spending another $100 million, Madam Speaker, to clean and to maintain public cemeteries.
Richard Oldacre has a sense of humor. On YouTube, he says, Mr. Malcolm, students repairing furniture, isn't that child labor? What about the politicians mashing up the desks in Gordon House? I hear you, Richard Oldacre, but I'm sure you got the point we're trying to make in terms of helping to give the children a better appreciation for the resources that they have at their disposal and related matters. But we have no doubt you're on board, Richard Oldacre. I'm sure you will make your contribution in due course. Thank you very much for your message. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Poro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. As we continue to spread the word as far as Edwin Allen High School is concerned, they're celebrating 60 years, and we need your help to ensure that it goes viral in a good way. Get the word around so that the one cocoa will full basket and the one hand that can't clap will be able to do more than applaud, if you get the picture. So we want to keep that going and ensure that not just at home, but abroad as well, the word gets out and we're able to maybe even have the different chapters coming together depending on when that is feasible, as has happened in I think it's Haile Selassie, combining with other institutions, other high schools, and they were able to, I don't have all the details, but they were able to raise funds collectively as opposed to individually. So very encouraging. And thank you for holding the line, Mr. Harris.
Okay, my pleasure. Still
Yes. Right. So I was just emphasizing, coming back from the break, emphasizing the importance of getting the word out there and meeting certain targets. So,
yes, so before we took the break, I was sharing some of the immediate areas that we want to focus on.
Oh yes, modernizing the labs.
Yes, so the modernization of the labs, those are the science labs.
Yes.
Our ICT labs are fairly okay, just that we need some more modern technology like our interactive boards, and we want to upgrade some of our computers for the science labs. That's one of our major concerns. And the fact that STEM
Yes.
is a major plank of our, Vision 2030 and beyond
Yes.
program. We want to make sure that Edwin Allen is fully on board
Yes.
with this target.
Because you also listed the library as well.
The library, we are also looking at not just focusing on the physical books, but to retrofit the library with computers that students can go there and do their assignments and their projects. And also the workshops. We have a very strong technical and vocational program at Edwin Allen. We have
like metalwork and woodwork and related matters.
Yes, electrical, mechanics, etc. Now these workstations are in need of modern equipment and tools, because if we're going to prepare our students to transition into these jobs that have modern technology, modern equipment, we must expose them to those at school. But those equipment, they are costly. And therefore, we have put together several proposals. We have shared with corporate Jamaica. We have shared with our chapters. And we hope that out of this awareness and sensitization, we will be able to get persons to understand the need, because one of the misconceptions, Dervan and listeners,
yes,
is that when you keep winning champs, persons believe that you have a lot of resources. But the reality is that we have to basically make a lot of sacrifices, and sometimes the other disciplines may not get the attention that they should get because of the demand of the sports program. So it's like you're playing a delicate balance, because that sport sells.
Yes.
And our students will get excited when you win champs and you win the Costa Cup. Yes? And they will have that friendly banter in between schools. But we still have to look at the main reason why schools were set up.
That's right.
The main reason why schools established, and it's because of the teaching and learning, the academic program. And that is where our focus, yes, since I started in 2021, has been on our academic programs. We're not going to bring down sports. Yes, this principle will continue to keep sports, but we must leverage our successes in sports to see how we can bring up the academic programs.
Yes.
So those are some of the things on the vision board, and we hope that our students and corporate Jamaica will partner with us so that we can achieve that.
Well, we stand ready to help you get the word out there, as we always say. After all, you're the ones doing the heavy lifting. We just feel privileged to be able to share your work with Jamaica, the diaspora, and the rest of the world. And so rest assured, you have our support every step of the way. Once there's you start going through the calendar, okay, this is where you're going next week, this is what is going to happen the following week, and we'll be happy to put the word out there so that you can get the support that you need. So you can count on us for that.
All right, thank you. And thank you for this opportunity. Again, I want to invite all for Grand Gala on the 13th of July at the Jamaica Pegasus Hotel. Tickets only $20,000, and it's really for a worthy cause. So we're asking persons to reach out to the school and the different chapters to get their tickets. We still have tickets available. So we're asking persons to reach out and to get their tickets. Thanks again, Dervan, and thanks for having me. And we would love to have your station there, if it is possible, to cover this grand gala on July 13th. It starts at 7 p.m.
All right, let's see if we can make it a date.
Okay, really appreciate it. Thanks much.
Thank you too. And I see Nicola asking, is graduation 28th of June? Is it?
June, yes.
The
Starting at 10 a.m.
Okay. Well, she's on the ball as well then. She knows when the date is.
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right. Well. Thank you very much. Comprehensive. We feel like we have been comprehensively briefed in these matters of this noble institution, and we trust that even now as we speak, that the word is getting out, and we know that you will make your contribution. Yes, you and you and you make your contribution to the development of your alma mater. And as we've said, we remain ready to make our contribution and getting the word out there and keeping it out there. Edwin Allen High School has given us so much, and here's our opportunity to say thank you, and we can reciprocate in that regard. This is your program, Both Sides of the Story, Paro 106 FM, still streaming live on the Gleaners website, go-jamaica.com, live on your smart devices all over the world. And a good afternoon to you too, Nicola, keeping watch of what's happening. It's good to have you on board. Thank you very much. And call coming in. I hope this is a contribution. This is let's go to this call on our text line, same as the WhatsApp number. Hello, good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
Hey, Dervan, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. How much are you pledging?
Wow. Good question, man.
Sorry, I don't mean to pressure you. I'm just fooling.
No, it's okay.
Yes.
As you know, I have a grandiose plan to fix the education system in Jamaica and the health system. I think that you know my plan already. I paused on it because I didn't like what the government did with the huge raise that they gave themselves. I'm bitter, what do you call it? Bitter taste in my mouth. For the huge raises that they gave themselves, the parliamentary and the I think the local government, the local people get the same raises, right? The council.
According to their to the calculations in their area, yes.
Yeah, Dervan, if they deserve it and work and the country, the hospitals, the schools were doing good and they deserve it, I would say, go ahead, but not triple, maybe 50%, 60%,
All right, hold a moment, please. One moment.
You're listening to Paro 106 FM. The time is now
4:45.
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
In 2017, we created the Youth Summer Employment Program. Over 40,000 young people have been professionally trained and deployed to help the ministry and the local authorities in implementing critical functions. while earning a good income. I am pleased to announce that this year, the Youth Summer Employment Program for the first time will be employing 10,000 young people in Jamaica for the summer for the first time.
Excerpt from Minister Desmond McKenzie's sectoral presentation, brought to you by the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development.
Thanks for holding. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yes, we're back with you. Go ahead, please.
Hello?
Hello? Are you there? Are you there? Hello? Or I don't think we lost the call. It's still connected. Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Hi, Dervan, good afternoon.
Oh, there you are. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
That's okay. So anyhow, I do still have in mind to present my plan someday. But I want to suggest in principle there, if you have because I think he said he had some issues with internet in the year. Because I think where that school is in St. Catherine.
No, this is what's the name of the community? Is it Frank Field? Is it?
What person is this?
It's in Clarendon.
In Clarendon, okay. I would suggest that I don't know if they themselves can go out and get Starlink. Starlink is a satellite system that will give you internet. And what I heard is pretty good, and it's not that expensive. So if they can go out and get their own, I think the government should probably, especially in a rural area, looking to Starlink for the rural area schools.
Mm-hmm.
So they have reliable internet at all time and have backup. They can have backup, backup system for the computer labs, for the computer labs,
Mm-hmm.
so that the kids can get computer time. I think they should also. I probably they do know, but leave the lab open for extended time after school, so the kids can stay back and do their homework. So the kids don't have internet at home or don't have computer. I think that'd be a good thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah. Sorry. I mean, you agree with what I'm saying, though. It sounds like I've heard of Starlink.
Yes. I've seen the logo before. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's in Jamaica. I think it's in Jamaica. Yeah. Your last week, I think, couple of days, you were doing a productivity session or productivity seminar, right?
Yes, the National Productivity Center's annual productivity conference, and of course there was the diaspora conference as well.
Yes, yeah. I tuned into not everything, but a lot of the stuff that was said. But I can't help myself, Dervan. You talk about productivity, a lot of good talking and sweet talking has gotten to Mrs. Vars. But I can't think, though, Dervan. Even the principal didn't know, was saying that the children come to school late because they don't have proper transportation. How productive is that?
Obviously unproductive. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Obviously unproductive.
Right, it's half the student. It's like something like 6% or something like that. It's like half the student don't show up on time. That can't be productive, Dervan. So now when they show the teacher gonna have to go back for those students who show up late. And then the main reason they're showing up late because they don't have proper transportation. Why don't cause the government to put 2 buses in the area to bus students? Oh, sorry, New York is so noisy. What would it cost government to put 2 buses in the area to bus students and then collect a stipend to bus students to school? What would it cost, Dervan?
I don't know. What do you call it now? As a suitability. They would have to. It would have to be worth their while. Quite frankly.
These are the future of the country. They need to get to school on time.
Yeah, but they still need to do some kind of a feasibility study. It's not just get up and do it. You want to make sure that you are.
I'm sorry. Government, if you could get, you have to be a brand new bus. These buses have to be brand new. You could get good second-hand buses, and you put them on the route and just pick the kids up, and they put a stipend. I don't know. But anyway,
well, see, you have put it together just like that, right out of your head.
Yeah, another thing, Dervan, I could help myself with thinking about remember I called a couple like a week ago and told you about I was in Jamaica and right there at the police station, at Crowgarden police station, I told them about the incident, right? About
yes.
What happened, right?
Yes, you did.
A watermelon broke right there, and a huge pothole. I mean, talking about this thing, you gotta slow all the way down. And I'm saying to the minister, I think the minister of Social Security, I think he was on, I'm not sure your show, giving these pretty speeches, right? I'm saying the water department, I guess it's them, don't even quote me. Some water main breaks, I gotta be them involved.
National Water Commission.
Yeah, look up the highway, right, and decide to leave it just like that. So when you get there, you gotta slow all the way down, or you're gonna be in an accident, or your whole front end, or your whole car gonna be get whatever damaged, right? Okay. How productive is this, Dervan?
Well, clearly it is a drag on production.
Highway in Dervan, the main road leading to Montego Bay, the main and the North Coast, leaving the Montego Bay. That's what they dug up, fixed it, and just left it for 3 weeks, Dervan. 3 weeks. I couldn't believe it, Dervan. I still can't believe it. And no one seems. I guess. I don't know. The police in Jamaica, do they require? This is a good question I want to ask. Maybe you don't know the answer, but I like to find out the answer. Do they require report dangerous, like danger? We're gonna be like a dangerous situation. Do they require to report these things?
Well, it would be regarded as a civil matter.
What do you mean? I mean, if a police sees something that's gonna cause accident, right? You don't think they should be able to report it to the proper authority to get it looked after before it causes an accident?
No, that wouldn't kick in. That wouldn't kick in.
So if the police is just patrolling and see a breaker in the road that can cause death or accident, you don't think they should able? They should be.
Well, that's not necessary. It's not. I get the point you're making, but not being the preserve of the police, I mean, wouldn't, like any other citizen, really, you would expect that if something is about to happen, if you see that something is about to happen, nothing is wrong with running to the assistance of the person who is about to be harmed. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And the average citizen can do that.
Yeah, but I would think that the police, one of the police responsibility is to report things that they see that are gonna cause going to cause probably lives. And if the highway was dug up, I wasn't properly, fixed in a way where I think they probably just threw the dirt in there. Basically, when the rainfall, everything came out. And when the car drive over it, everything came out. Basically, I think that's what happened. When I got there, everything slowing down. You couldn't go more than 5 miles over it, basically. And so if you're coming at night and you don't see it 5-10 miles over it, so if you're coming at night and you don't see it, you're gonna be probably causing an accident. Probably accident happened before. But the point I'm making, the police should be able to say, listen, there's a big ditch in the road right here.
No, but it really doesn't need the police. That's a waste of manpower or resource. It wouldn't. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
If you're telling me if police is patrolling a neighborhood or patrolling somewhere, and they see something that's gonna cost their lives, you don't think the police are have a responsibility?
You weren't listening to me, you know. You weren't listening to me because I've pretty much said that already. That you if you see something that needs to be done, that you're going to do it, just like any citizen.
I think the police have a bigger responsibility to do that, Dervan. I think that's who should be part of the responsibilities.
Well, you'd have to put a bill before the house or something like that if you want to change. Well, that's the point I'm making. You just helped me to make the point there. That's the point I'm making. It's the average citizen will naturally respond as bad as we think we are as a people. We will respond and assist whomever needs to be assisted. I mean, sadly we have those of us who are blind or otherwise visually impaired. Naturally, the average citizen would want to assist. So you help to prevent something from happening. You don't have to be a police to prevent something from happening on the road.
Again, I'm not saying if I know the number, I call it a lot of times because you call 311 and the operator comes on the line.
Well, there you go. You're helping me to make the point again.
Right. Well, I'm not saying no, but I'm just saying I think the police should be able, not able, but the police responsibility. If they see something that cause an issue especially on that highway, they should be able to say, listen, the water commissioner was here calling, they should have they know.
Yeah, but people do that virtually every day, you know. People call water commission to tell them where a pipe bursts. People call NWA to tell them about a pothole, etc. Now, the rest is invariably left up to the respective agencies to receive the information and act on it as quickly as possible.
Yeah, again, but it was just, for me, that was like an eye-opening for me. To see a highway, coming on a highway, especially at night, and you...
Oh dear, so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm just seeing the time now, 4:59. Sorry about that. Pleasure. Take care. Thank you, everybody. Can we thank you once again for the privilege of serving you on yet another edition of your program, Both Sides of the Story, for today, Monday, the 24th of June, 2024. All things being well, Both Sides of the Story returns tomorrow afternoon, 2 to 5. Till then, this is Dervan Malcolm reminding all of us that every day is an opportunity to do better than yesterday. Take care.
You're listening to Power 106 FM. The time is now 5 o'clock. News, comprehensive, powerful, and credible. Power 106 FM
now presents a simulcast of Radio Jamaica's News at 5.
Bye.